And a very warm welcome to the Mel and Jen show, or should be that the Jen and Mel, because we're coming to Jenny Baxter over in Antibes in France, where apparently summer has not quite arrived yet. And of course, summer hasn't quite left us here yet, although it is getting a bit chilly. How you doing, Janella Willefella?
Hey, I'm doing really well now. And please give us summer now. Let go.
I think I might just have to get on a plane and come over there and come and hang out with you, because winter's definitely on its way here. Fortunately, we've had blue skies in Joburg for a couple of days, which is like, people are going, oh, all the things that are going wrong, and let's not get into stage 4 load shedding. But you know what? I walk outside and I have a look, and the sun is shining and the air is clean and it's a beautiful day. And that for me is good enough to actually make me feel good, to be honest with you. And
Good.
I'm counting all my blessings, and I know that the biggest story, of course, has been all the floods down in KZN, which is really hectic. And I'm
And not
glad to
just
see.
KZN anymore. I mean, that's
No,
why
no,
there's
it's all
now a
over,
national
yeah.
state of disaster.
But what I'm glad is that in the really badly hit areas is that they suspended load shedding. And that was important for so many people. And people were saying, I mean, surely if, we've got all of this going on, don't load shed us as well. And I mean, it can be done that you don't load shed an area. It's quite easy. And I think they should be suspending load shedding, quite frankly, altogether.
Yeah.
But I do, my heart does go out to those people who had just gone out and done their weekly shopping or monthly shopping, and they lost everything because there was no electricity. But hopefully it'll get back slowly but surely. And I think that you will agree with me that I think that the savior of the universe, as I like to think of him from Gift of the Givers, should be made president of this country.
Oh,
That's all I
wouldn't
have
that
to say.
just be amazing? No, not that I think Cyril's too bad either, though. And it was wonderful to see that he did go down straight away and meet with people. So I personally am a Cyril fan, but I know, of
And a
course, he
lot of
could do
us
it
are.
better. Yeah.
But as long as he sticks with that whole thing of saying that he is going to, anybody steals aid, like happened in times like over the last couple of years where there's been aid being given, and then these fat cats come along and they just go and take everything. As long as he stands by his word that he is going to have them arrested or put in jail or whatever, and there will be no short shrift given to these people, they
Yeah.
need to be taken down. And the videos are doing the rounds at the moment. I'm wondering if that really vehement chick from Mhloti is actually, like, if it's a real thing or not. But if it was a real thing where the people were stealing
Imitate
stuff
her
and
again?
they're stealing the aid. They're stealing the aid. She's coming from Durban. And she went, I
Oh,
mean,
so
if
good.
people do see that thing happening where she just went, I don't, as I said, I don't know how true the video is, but it's been going around. And she just went and parked them in. And so they couldn't leave the place. And she got their faces and number plates and everything on
Fantastic.
on film, and hopefully, if they were, that something was done about it. So we don't know if that was a true thing or not.
And in terms of corruption, to be super safe, I mean, there are so many people right now in South Africa and abroad who are all reaching out to KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, etc.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I don't know if you saw Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
She's launched something. Rachel Khaleesi in South Africa, her and Sia, their foundation's raising. And of course, as you've just mentioned, our heroes, Gift of the Givers. If you're in doubt of who to support, you just know, there seems to be no corruption there,
Well,
and they
this is
really
one thing, I
help.
don't know if I've mentioned it before, that you can now, if like we get the My School card, which you get points from using at various places, where you swipe your card. And I mean, I think it's Woolworths and where else? Westpac, a whole bunch of different places that you can do that. You can change it now if you don't have kids at school, for those donations to go straight to Gift of the Givers as well. So, I mean, you'll still keep on supporting them whenever you buy stuff. So I think that's a great way of doing stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just hope that the rain doesn't come down as heavily over the next. I mean, the weekend is coming, which means it is going to rain again, because it always rains on the weekend, especially in Johannesburg. So, people, just spare a thought when you're moaning about how good you've got it compared to a lot of others. That's all I can say. I don't mind stage 4. And if the power goes out, for me, I lived in a little shack in Sedwana Bay for a year and a half, for goodness sake. We didn't need to power anything up then. We didn't have a TV or computers or cell phones.
No, and South
So it wasn't a
Africa,
problem.
and South Africa with its braais, which go across all cultures, is the best suited country for load shedding. But I've got to say, here in France, really good. Today, for the first time, we had 4 hours of our Wi-Fi or fiber, whatever it's called, was down while they're upgrading stuff. And in those 4 hours, they gave us all an extra 200 gigabytes to use on our mobile phones. So
we should be so lucky if we got that. That
pretty
would be fantastic.
organized. And just another quick South African thing, so divine. Right now, we've got strelitzias everywhere.
Awesome.
So it's really nice for all the yachties here who've come over from South Africa and there are no jobs because obviously all the oligarchs' boats have been seized or have gone somewhere safer.
Right,
So
of
there's
course,
I mean, all these South Africans, we keep saying to them, because a lot of people contact me to stay here, to stay with us. And we keep saying, just don't come this year. There just are no jobs. But of course, there's always hope and you just never know. So let me not kill somebody's career dreams. But people are struggling. People are really struggling. And luckily, there's strelitzias to keep them happy and keep them feeling connected to home.
Then they're still flowering this side as well, which is great. Okay, so what news do you have for expats at the moment? I see that at the top of the list here, we've got Darren Bergman, who we chatted to last week, of course. Shame, did you hear that he ended up having to go into isolation just after we chatted to him?
What did you do to him, Mal?
No, I didn't do anything. He tested positive for COVID, apparently. So, and it is still going around, but he said, he's got a bit of a sore throat, and that's about it.
And
So,
he's okay.
well, big ups to you, Darren. Hope you're going to be good. But what else has he been doing? I know.
But Mal, have I sent you the wrong list? Because the top of my list news for expats says Icons series.
Oh, well, that probably is. Yes, it is. You're totally right.
You're looking at last week's list.
I'm on last week. Anyway, so but there you know. Now you had an update on what's happened with Darren.
Fabulous. The Icons series is this new series that it's going to go like around the world, Europe, Australia, Asia. But it's starting at the end of June in the USA, and it is an American team versus the rest of the world. And South Africa's Ernie Els, golfing legend, has been selected as the captain of the rest of the world. Yeah, and so yesterday they announced 4 of the people who are on his team. I think each person gets about 12 people on their team, and it's going to be like a 10-hole match. They're being very careful about the environment, blah, blah, blah. And one of the people who he's got on is Ash Barty, who's, she was number 1 in the world, tennis player. She won the Australian Open, and then at the age of 25 has retired because she said she's had all the great experiences that tennis can give. So why keep reliving the same experience over and over? And it looks like she's going to be heading into golf instead.
No, not a bad idea.
Yeah, and with Ernie, how divine.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's captain of the universe. There we go. Not just captain of the world. All right, and what is, Herman Mashaba, our former mayor of Johannesburg. What is he doing now?
He's just going to be in London on Wednesday evening. If anybody wants to pop along, find out more info. He's just going to be talking about his view on the state of South Africa right now. For anyone in London, and then for anybody in Atlanta or anywhere in America, really, exciting news that Delta Airlines has been approved to do that triangular route, which will be Atlanta to Cape Town, Johannesburg. Because they've been able to do Joburg for ages, but not Cape Town. So this is a big thing for great for Cape tourism and great for the expats in that part of the world who want to get over easily to the Western Cape.
I don't know. I think they should just keep on flying into Johannesburg, and then they're forced to go up and do a game drive before they go to Cape Town.
This is true, but they can do game drives in near to Port Elizabeth. They could go to KwaZulu-Natal, which is going to need a lot of tourism in the next few months. They just missed out on a lot over Easter, which is normally their second busiest time of the year.
Yeah, because the roads had gone, so people
yes,
couldn't go. Yeah.
So please go to KwaZulu-Natal as soon as you can. Did you see that lovely story we posted last night? Moved to Shlushlui. And they were driving to Potchefstroom on Monday, and obviously they don't know the area that well, and they were using Google Maps and got lost, and because of the floods they landed up on this farm road and landed up so they tried to do a U-turn when they realized their mistake, and they got stuck in the mud for hours and hours, and then along came a with passengers, and they all jumped out and helped them. And then the lovely couple who didn't have a lot of money gave them all their prized pineapples, which they had been taking to their parents. So, yeah, it was beautiful.
No, I've had my kids get into those kind of situations as well. So it's always nice when you have somebody who comes along who can help out. Yeah, especially if you're in the middle of nowhere and you've got no cell phone reception. That's one of those things that happens. So I will have a look at that. Okay, so what news have you had in from expats for interest for South Africans?
Okay, so I just want to do a quick shout out to the SA High Commission. The ambassador and her colleagues have been very helpful in answering a lot of questions for SAPeople followers who can't get hold of the embassy directly. So, so just thank you. They answered the questions, and the questions are up on the site, all about passport renewals, etc., etc. And it does take 6 months wherever you are outside of South Africa. News from expats just down the road. In fact, I'm going for dinner in Monaco tonight.
Oh, shut up.
I know. I actually haven't been for dinner there for ages because their COVID rules were quite strict. But going there for dinner, Princess Charlene, after, I think the last time we saw a photo of her was in November when she was looking really frail. And she had just arrived from South Africa. She's been in treatment. She's back in Monaco. And on Monday, they posted 3 beautiful photos of the family, and with her looking really healthy and calm. And yeah, so I really wish them luck. Yeah.
I think she should get me over there to come and be her personal trainer. I'll look after her. Make sure she gets a nice big African bunda going again.
Oh, that sounds good. I probably need that. Not that I'm that frail. Yeah.
Not that you're frail, but no, but I can make you stronger. No, but both, by the way, both Jenny and I are like serious Pilates aficionados, and that is one of the best things you can do for yourself.
And under here, I have muscles.
Yes, underneath all this stuff, we are big.
Underneath all the fat.
We're strong blondes. All right, and then you've also got what's this about what's this Antoinette Lombard de Ridder?
Oh, she has this fantastic, when she got to America, she was like missing South Africa, had no friends. And so she's the one that got this group going for women only in the US and Canada. It's called SAitu. They had, I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, they were having an event. Yes. The event was such a success. And actually the photos and the videos have just been so feel good. It's been our most popular post over the last week. Just South Africans all over the world just relating at how divine to have this get together in Nashville where there's no explanations needed, where you just connect just because you're South African. So that was really lovely, and yes, Cindy sang "Substitute" and "Save Me" and an African Dream. I
love Cindy. She's just she's like an absolute mensch. She's fabulous. I really, really adore her.
Yeah,
and I'm glad she's getting herself together in Nashville. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Yeah. Okay, and then in this. What else we got there? Lila Illing. Why is the name so familiar to me?
She was on a radio station in South Africa quite a few years ago. And then she moved to the US a few years ago. She sang the national anthem at the rugby match in New York that I think South Africa lost quite badly.
South Africa lost rugby in America? How did that
No,
happen?
this was years ago.
Okay.
I don't think, no, they were not playing Americans. They were
Oh,
playing,
okay.
they
Yeah, I
were
was going to
playing
say, how does
Wales
one?
or
You
Ireland or
can't lose
somebody.
against America. I mean, that would just be appalling. Anyhow, well, let's find out what local good news have you seen? I mean, apart from the fact that obviously that those people helped out the couple that got stuck in Hlui.
Oh, and so many other beautiful stories. There's so many good stories and people not stealing stuff and actually taking stuff. Um, but yeah, some international news from local good news was that Drake apparently co-signed Uncle Waffles. You know, she's the I'm a piano DJ star. She's very cool, very, very cool. And Drake has mentioned her once before, and he mentioned her again this week, and she actually said he has over 107 million followers. And he mentioned her in his story this week, and she went onto Twitter and just said, Drake mentioned me. I've been screaming for 10 minutes nonstop. And you can imagine it's really raising her profile and also taking South African music, because Amapiano is just so South African.
Yeah.
Taking South African music to the rest of the world.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Well
So
done. Thank you,
listen up
Drake.
for that. Yeah. And then yeah, we just had, you know, the beautiful stories of what people did, and there was a guy who was stuck under rubble and actually could hear his mom screaming and crawled through. She just had her head out. The rest of her
Where was this?
in Westville during the floods. And his uncle wrote the most beautiful open letter to Westville High School about this boy who basically saved his mom's life and risked his own life because the mudslide had come and just crashed into their house and pushed him into another room where he was safer, but he went back into the danger and got his mom out, and just wow. And then on non-flood news, but water news, there's a lovely, I think her name is Wendy Saunders. She's an 87-year-old granny who only started swimming 10 years ago and is now the 5th in the world. So,
wow.
Yeah, she did really well this weekend. So well done to her.
Yeah, and talking about swimming, of course, then I got a message from our dear friend Andy Kutsia, who's been doing the support for Sarah Ferguson, not the Duchess, who on her swim.
Who
and
should be a Duchess.
He said, Melly, you must come down and come and do the sardine run with us at the beginning of July. And I think it's end of June, beginning of July. And like, this is where we're going and this is what we're doing. So, I mean, I know people are already getting their plans in place for the sardine run.
Fantastic.
Come that time of the year. Yeah, so I may go, but I think at that stage I might actually be kind of hanging out in Joburg because my children will be going off all over the country. One to be a game ranger and the other one to be a wag. Oh, no, a hag in Ireland, a hockey wife type thing. Well, it could be quite fun. All right, so what do we got? While we're not entertaining you all that much at the moment, what do we have in entertainment? Because I've been sitting and I've just finished watching Lewis on BritBox. I've discovered BritBox and loving BritBox. But of course we have...
and BritBox is part of Showmax.
No, it's totally
DSTV. DSTV?
No, BritBox is its own thing as well, which is great. Yeah, so I mean, between Showmax, Netflix, and BritBox, my life is complete. And I know that there's also Amazon Prime. But for the local television stuff, of course, the people overseas who can log on to Showmax or
and
DSTV
watch
now
the local shows
and watch local shows.
They can and they can watch. I mean, they can watch Carte Blanche every week, which is a fantastic way of staying up to date with South Africa. And nowadays, Carte Blanche seems to always have at least one feel-good story amongst the hard-hitting investigations. And then there's also, it's a sad story, but it's really worth watching, the Hannah Cornelius story, Last Blue Ride, the young student who got murdered in Stellenbosch a few years ago. And it's the story of that last night of her life. And that's available for South Africans abroad to watch as well. And then I thought for you, on Showmax, but not available overseas, have you watched Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah.
Because Larry David is a female Melanie Walker.
Well, I am a female Melanie Walker. Hello, you mean a male Melanie Walker? Yeah, no, there's so many.
He's a male Melanie Walker. Sorry.
There's so much good stuff to watch out there. Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of it, South African stuff as well. I still am waiting for them to bring back the original old, like the Afrikaans soapies. I think we've mentioned them before, that the stuff that we grew up on when, remember when it was in the early hours up until 9:00 it was English, and then you had Afrikaans on TV, and that was on a Monday and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday was Afrikaans first, and whatever way around it went. And we used to watch Agter Elke Man and the Namakwalaners, and what was that one about
I never watched
Orkney,
any of those because,
Snorkney.
my Afrikaans was not good enough. I did watch something called The
you're
Villagers.
from Natal, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Villagers with Gordon.
Yes, Gordon, our
Mulholland.
friend who helped us fly together that one night.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Gordon
Darling.
Mulholland, one of my favorites. And all of that stuff, and especially the Afrikaans stuff, because it was so beautifully shot. And that's one thing that Afrikaans drama and Afrikaans soapies over the years, from the 70s, it's always been, and the movies as well. I mean, if you think about the movies were made like Taxi to Soweto. Do you remember that? Was it with Sandra Prinsloo as well? Brilliant movies. So I think they should bring out the old stuff as well, and not just have it on CakeNet.
But you know that Showmax does have thousands of shows, and there are a lot of the old ones. Because sometimes when someone passes away and they'll mention an old show, and then I check, and they have got the old series there.
Okay, I'll go on and have a look and see what we should push for next week.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay, donkey.
Okay, so what have you got coming up for this coming week? What story has been on your radar that you're now having a chat about?
Just a beautiful story about a baby orphaned rhino and a kind of abandoned baby zebra that have made friends, and it went on to Board Panda, so it got like worldwide exposure.
People might not know what Board Panda is. I do. So I can look at you and go, I know exactly what you mean. It is. I follow Board Panda on Instagram. It's great.
Yeah, it's for board pandas like you and us. Yeah. And we'll have details on how you can adopt a rhino from Care for Wild, because Care for Wild is they're in South Africa, they're the biggest, sadly, rhino orphan sanctuary. And this is a real beautiful story that's at least bringing them some much needed funds to save other rhino.
Okay, well, all of that information, of course, you can find on the site, which is SAPeople.com. And you can go and have a look at it on Facebook if you're on Facebook and you're not too much of a technophobe. And any of the great videos that Jen's been talking about, the really inspirational stuff. And that's what we're looking at, is to find the good, because otherwise we can all get stuck down in the mud like so many people in the KwaZulu-Natal. So don't forget, SAPeople.com. and on Facebook. Jenny, thank you so very much. It's always an absolute pleasure hanging out with you.
Thank you, Mel. See you next week.
We shall see you next week indeed. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.